Hello and welcome to this session. So in this sessions, we are going to create an Ansible playbook, a new playbook that will create image. It will we will provide some tag and we will push it into the Docker Hub, and we will going to modify our existing playbook in which we are going to remove some of the command that we use to create images, and we are going to use it for the deployment. So in this video also we are going to play with the Ansible playbook to do all the those stuffs, and we are going to host into the Ansible itself in the next video, and after that we will do the integrations with the Ansible so that when the artifacts move to the Ansible, it will create an image and push it into the Docker Hub, and once the image get pushed we invoke another Ansible playbook from the Jenkins itself, so all the things will be automated, and it will create a container, and once we push or invoke the this particular host, you can say the target. In our case currently we have one Docker server, but in the real world environment we have several. So it will fetch the latest image from the Docker Hub and create the container. Okay, so we are going to write the Ansible in this particular sessions, and we are going to modify the existing playbook. Okay, so before proceeding this particular session, I would like you to request you to go in a systematic order, in a serial order. So we have several videos on the DevOps. To have a better clarity, go with the first part, second part, and accordingly. So you have a better clarity that how the things moves on, because each of the parts is dependent with each other. So currently till date we have 14th part we released for the DevOps series, and this is the 15th video. So watch all the video in a systematic order to have a better clarity. Okay, similar way we have several topics for the Kubernetes. We already released several topics for the Kubernetes topic wise, and very few are left. And soon we are going to I'm going to prepare a video on that as well, related with the services, sidecar, network. So all the things we are going to create in coming days. Like you can see, I covered approximately many topics. Means 15 videos I covered already, and this video is very important if you are going to appear for the CKA exams. I provided 25 CKA tips that will be very important if you are going to appear for or planning to appear for the CKA exam. Before the exam, this is the must watch video, you can say. You have to refer these videos to have a better understanding regarding the tips and tricks we discussed in this particular videos. Besides this, we also provided some CKA challenge questions. So each of the videos have three questions in a particular set. So till date we have 9 part we released. So you can see the 9 part each having the 3 questions. It's 27 questions we handled. We are not discussing only about the questions and complexity level. We are doing the labs also. So you have the better clarity how to crack these questions. And time to time in each video I also provided some extra tip for the CKA examinations. And this is the, means you can say, a fourth playlist I started for the Terraform. So in this video we don't have many in this particular playlist we don't have many videos. I released only two videos, but soon I am going to add some more videos on this particular playlist also, in which I'm also discussing about the Terraform associate certifications, including all the basics informations regarding the Terraform, how the Terraform looks, how it works in a real organizations level, how the people's moving the all the state files and wherein they are keeping it for the security purpose, and all these things we are going to discuss in this particular playlist. So I'm closing all these windows. This is just for your information so that you have the all the understanding regarding this particular challenge. And soon we are going to add some more playlists like Dockers, Python, and all these things. This is planned accordingly. So currently in the previous sessions we pushed one image. You can see that 9 hour before we pushed one Docker image using the running the the command. So we are going to do the same step, but this time using the Ansible playbook. So this is my current agenda for this particular sessions. Okay, so I'm currently in the Ansible, and if you see, we have Ansible Docker images which we created in our past videos, and we have the Docker file, and the host we have the currently local host, you can see. So current target is only on the local host. In the next video, we are going to update it for the Docker server. First, we have to do all the things first in a manual way. Then we associate it with all the commands to the Jenkins. And then whenever the user try to attempt or do any changes into the Git repository, Jenkins will listen through cron job, and it will push the artifact to Ansible, and same the image will be pushed to the Docker hub. And when the Ansible invoke the command through Jenkins, the deployment will be done on the target machine that is not on the Ansible. It will be on the Docker server. So all these things will come into the other sessions. In this sessions, we are going to write a new Ansible book. So let name it as Ansible, because we are going to write the Ansible playbook. Ansible, and we are going to create an image and pushing into the Docker hub. So Docker hub, okay. And what we are going to do, we are going to create an image and tag it and then push it into the Docker hub. So we are going to write an image dot yml, and this particular we are going to write in a similar way the Ansible playbook. So I'm just pressing the I buttons to go into the insert mode. 3 dash to start with the Ansible playbook. Host, we are going to pass all, okay, and become true. If you don't know about this particular syntax, you can refer my previous video. I provided all the informations there. Tasks. First task will be, the name will be, you can pass any name as per your requirement. I'm just passing it as a creating. This is a simple text. You can pass any name. It's just for the user to understand or the developer to understand what we are going to achieve. So we are creating Docker images. Okay. The command will be Docker build -t Ansible Docker image, and we are going to provide a tag also with the latest, okay, and putting the dot so that it run or fetch all the Docker file informations from this particular direct folder itself. And the command arguments that we are going to pass here, chdir, the directory path will be opt/docker. Okay, so what command actually we are providing here, that go to this particular path, the opt docker, and create the image. Okay, so now I'm going to tag it in the similar way. We have to tag it name, what we are going to achieve, adding tag to image, and the command, what command will be docker tag Ansible Docker image, okay, with the tag jha with you. This is the account of the Docker hub, so we have to prefix it. If you want more information, you can refer my 14th video for this. Docker image. So we tagged this particular image with this particular name, because if you didn't tag it with the account name, then Docker Hub will not able to understand it. Okay. Now we are going to name it again, the other task, push image to Docker Hub. Okay. Command, okay, will be Docker push. I'm going to copy it so we don't have any typo. Going to paste it here. Okay. So we are going to push it, but you know that we required some credentials. So after creating the file, we are going to connect with the Docker, and then we will execute it. Okay. So when we did it, and now with another will be to remove. So removing images from local. When we push image, we will going to remove it from the local. Command, what command will be? Docker RMI, and this particular image and this particular image, both the image. Okay, so I think all the things are clear, but what about if the image not exist in the environment? So you are running it first time. So in that case, ignore errors. Yes. Okay, so that's it for this particular Ansible that we created, and we are going to save it and exit it. Okay, so ls, we have two images, two particular Ansible file, and the one Docker file, host file, and the artifacts. Okay, so now we are going to connect with the Docker. So Docker login, Docker Hub, we are going to connect. Okay, the connections is succeed because we previously already provided all the informations. Now we have to monitor this particular environment. Do we have any container running? Because we are not going to we are currently in this particular playbook, we are not removing the container, or we are not stopping the container. So when we run this particular Ansible playbook manually, if we have any running container, we will have to face the problem, because this particular Ansible will only create, tag, and push it into the Docker Hub and remove the images. So if we have any running container, then it will create some problems. So we have to check the environment first. Docker ps, we don't have any. Docker ps -a, do we have any? Yes, we have stopped, but we have to remove it as well. So Docker remove. Okay, so we can going to pass the container ID here. Do we have any images? Yes, we have. Better to remove all the things to have a better clarity on these particular aspects. So Docker RMI, I am going to remove this one because we are going to create. Okay, let the base image as it is. We are not going to remove it. So we have only one. So all the things perfectly fine. Now I am going to run the Ansible playbook, the playbook that I just created. Let's clear the screen. ls. So we are going to run the Docker Hub images YAML file. Okay, so the command is Ansible Playbook I host. Currently we have only the local host, so it is going to do all the activity in the Ansible server itself, hosts, and the Ansible Docker Hub images. So I'm going to run it. So you can see that the latest image which we tagged it by running the Ansible playbook, it's moved to the Docker Hub. Let's verify it as well. So when we refreshed it a minute ago, so it's moved to the Docker Hub successfully. So we tested our the newly created Ansible playbook, and now we are going to modify the existing Ansible playbook that we are going to use for the deployments. Okay, so let's clear the screen first. ls. So this is the newly created Ansible playbook that we used for the image, and this one we are going to use for the deployment. So we are going to rename it so to have a better understanding on this particular part. So mv Ansible Docker image, we are going to rename it as Ansible DevOps, because this is the Ansible playbook that we are using for the DevOps activity and for the deployments, to have a better naming convention. .yml. So you can see that this is for the deployment and this is for the image. And now we are going to modify the existing file, Ansible DevOps. Okay, so this is the file that we created previously, and we are going to remove the Docker images sections. So, or we are going to, you can say that we are going to modify it. So stopping the container is fine. We are not going to touch this particular part. We are going to remove. This is also fine. We are going to modify the remove images sections. Okay. So here we are going to use the tag, means you can say the account. So I'm going to the insert mode for this particular modification. Java with you / Ansible. Okay. And this particular thing we don't require it because we already handled it into the newly created Ansible playbook. So we are going to remove the code that we are going to use for the building. Okay, so I'm skipping this and I'm putting the dd command to remove these lol lines. Okay, fine. Now here we are going to add for the pulling of the images from Docker Hub. So we are going to name it as pulling image from Docker Hub. Okay, and the command will be docker pull Java with you. This is the account name, Ansible Docker image. Let's provide the tag as well. Latest. Okay, fine. So regarding the creating the container, we are going to use the name is same. We have to modify the images with the account name of the Docker Hub again. with you slash. So now all things looks good. We are stopping the container. Okay, we are removing the container. We are also providing the ignore errors in case of any exception. Previously we don't have the container. In that case it will handle. Removing the container, removing the images, all things looks good. We are removing the correct images with the tag. Pulling the images from the Docker Hub, that command is also fine with a particular tag also latest. And we are providing the Docker Hub account name as well. So all things looks good. We are building a Docker container, okay, out of that image which get pulled. So we provided the correct informations of the images. We modified it. So all things looks good. Let's save it. Okay, so now I'm going to run this playbook also so that we can see the container. Currently we have only the images. Let's verify it as well. We have currently the Tomcat, so we are going to run this thing again because it's removed. So if you have any confusion at this point, just I let you know that when the Docker images get pushed to the Docker Hub, all the images get removed from the local repository, local system. This is what we coded previously, right? So you don't have any confusion that why we are not seeing the images. Images will get removed. This is for this purpose we created a new Ansible playbook. So I think all the things are clear at your end. Docker ps minus a stop or a running container, we don't have any. Okay, so now I'm going to run the modified Docker Ansible playbook. Okay, so Ansible, okay, playbook minus I host, we have local host here, Ansible, okay, DevOps, uh, DevOps deployment. Okay, this we are going to run it. So now it will pull the images from the, and you can see that it's ignoring because we don't have any container. We already handled it. Now it's pulling the images from the Docker Hub. So when it's pull the image, it will create a container out of that image. Okay. So you can find at this particular point, we have the images or we have the container running. So Docker ps. So you can find that we have a container running. So in this way, you can see that Docker images. So you can find that we pulled the images from the Docker Hub. The images that is pushed by our the newly created Ansible playbook. Okay, that Ansible playbook is responsible to create an image, tag the image, and push it into the Docker Hub. After that, it's removing all the images from the local. And this existing playbook which we modified, it will pull the images. Okay, first it's stop the container, remove the container, remove the existing images, and then it's pull and create a Docker container out of the the latest images that fetch from the Docker Hub. So you can see that we tested all our both the Ansible playbook successfully. So now we need to modify our Jenkins job because we have to do the things in an automated way. And we also need to add the private IP of the Docker server into the host that we are going to do in this particular session only. So let me do that as well. Vi hosts. Okay, now I'm going to insert these particular things, that IP ADDR. You can get it from the AWS console as well because this is the private IP 4787. Okay, copy it. If you don't want to handle through this, then you can go through the interface also. You can find the private the Docker server IP related stuffs here. Okay, so from here you can find the IP of uh, the you can say the machine. So you can see 4787. This is the private IP, and we are fetching that particular private IP and putting it into the host. Just paste it here. Okay, save it. So we configured the host also. So when we in the next session we are going to do all the things, all the configuration related with the Jenkins, and so that when we push any code, modify code to the GitHub, the Jenkins will listen, and we have to all the configuration, all the modifications done in the Jenkins job, so that it will do all the deployments. The Ansible playbook will push add the tag and push the images, the latest images into the Docker Hub and remove the existing images, and the deployment, the Ansible deployment script will invoke for the this particular host, the Docker server, and the Docker server will fetch informations from the Docker Hub. Docker server will fetch the information from the Docker Hub to build the container out of that pulled images. So that's it, guys, for this particular sessions. In the next, we will going to learn how to modify our Jenkins job to achieve our deployment on the target server, that is the Docker server, one server for demo purpose. But in the real environment, we have multiple servers. So if you like my video, just subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends as well, and try to view the videos in a systematic order, in a serial order, so that you have a better clarity on this particular topic. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching this video.